Beijing faced one of the most devastating natural disasters in decades. Torrential rains swept through the region, turning streets into rivers, fields into lakes, and homes into islands. The disaster was not expected, and its scale shocked both residents and officials alike. It began quietly. In the rural township of Taishitun, about 70 miles northeast of central Beijing, the weather seemed normal at first. The area is flat, far from mountains that could trigger landslides or sudden mudslides. There was no history of major floods, and the closest river, the Qingshui, flowed calmly a quarter of a mile away. It fed into a large reservoir downstream, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But the rain did not stop. For 5 days, heavy downpours pounded the region, particularly the Miyun district. Some parts received nearly a year's worth of rain in just over half a day. The Qingshui River, swollen by the relentless rain upstream in the Ganyu Valley, rose to unprecedented levels. By the morning when disaster struck, the river's flow had surged to 1,500 times its normal rate. Without warning, the river burst through its floodbanks in the early hours, sending a massive torrent of water rushing into Taishitun. Trees and cars were swept away. The floodwaters moved with such force and speed that they overwhelmed everything in their path. The town's residents, still groggy from sleep, were jolted awake by neighbors shouting warnings. Panic spread as people scrambled to higher ground, some climbing onto rooftops, others desperately seeking safety. Among the hardest hit was the Taishitun Town Elderly Care Center. Inside the one-story building, 69 elderly residents lived, 55 of whom were fully or partially incapacitated. They relied entirely on the 8 workers present that day for help. As the water rose quickly, the nursing home was soon submerged under 6 feet of water. Firefighters arrived around 7 in the morning, but the currents were too powerful, flowing faster than Niagara Falls at their peak. They began rescue efforts only 3 hours later. Footage broadcasted by Chinese state media showed rescue workers swimming into the nursing home, using ropes to reach those clinging to windowsills. Tragically, 31 residents lost their lives. The number left an indelible mark on the capital and stirred deep sorrow across the nation. The disaster in Miyun exposed a larger, more alarming issue. Climate change had been shifting ocean currents, bringing unprecedented rainfall to northern China, a region that had been relatively dry until now. As the Qingshui River surged uncontrollably, it eventually reached the Miyun Reservoir, Beijing's main source of potable water. The reservoir faced its highest inflow since its construction in 1959. Authorities had issued a red alert, the highest level 48 hours before the floodwaters overwhelmed the town. However, no clear evacuation instructions were communicated, leaving some, like the elderly care home, tragically exposed. Nhìn phải một tủ là đi hả? Đã ra完那飞不得，话都咁难啊！我也爱。哎呀，快了，快点买，做会耶！是，快点！ At a later news conference, Beijing officials confirmed that over 16,000 residents in Miyun had been evacuated. They had gone door to door in many areas to ensure safety, but the nursing home had not received the same attention. The Chinese Meteorological Administration explained that forecasting such extreme weather was still a global challenge. They vowed to strengthen early warning systems to prevent future disasters of this scale. Meanwhile, many families wrestled with the painful reality of losing loved ones. Social media was flooded with calls for a thorough overhaul of nursing home safety and for society to take better care of its elderly. Beyond the nursing home tragedy, the floods left scars across Beijing. Major streets transformed into canals. Intersections became stagnant lakes, and drivers abandoned their cars as they bobbed in the rising waters. The city's subway system, vital for daily commuters, was paralyzed. Trains came to a halt, tunnels filled to the ceiling, and electrical equipment suffered massive damage. Restoring the subway alone would take months. Power stations in flood zones were forced to shut down, plunging communities into darkness. Communications faltered as underground cables were submerged. Hospitals moved critical equipment to higher floors, while schools stacked supplies to save them from the rising waters. The disaster was a tragic lesson in how climate change and poor preparation can combine into catastrophe. The memories of the flood, of people clinging to rooftops, of elderly residents trapped in a nursing home, of neighborhoods submerged will linger long after the waters recede. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more clear and calm reports on extreme weather events. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Please note that some footage in this video is for illustrative purposes and may not depict the exact events described. Thank you for watching and stay safe.